And we're back, rolling straight like that with these superior facts. You already know what it do. Ariana Ali, back in the place to be. Assalamu alaikum to those that speak the language. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Right back in full effect, just like I told you I would. I'm a man of my word and a man of consequence, as I've told you and shown you before. Stay tuned. Earlier today, I did a video called Not Her Daughter, Her Competition, speaking about how these mothers, modern day mothers in some instances, raise their daughters to be their competition instead of raising her to be her daughter that's going to grow up to be her own woman, right? To be a man's wife and a child's or children's mother, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and address us, the men, the brothers, the vanguards of the community, right? Go ahead and set the tone. Play a couple of instrumentals, inshallah, off the up-and-coming project entitled Mixtapes and Heartache. Turn the beat up a little bit. Exclusives, you feel me? And the title of this evening's discussion is Our Enemies from Within. Our Enemies from Within. You dig? And I want to talk about it, black man. I want to speak from a place of conviction, but I want to speak straight words and truth from me to you. For I'm a reflection of you and you of me. So here we go. I'm going to come at it from two angles. Number one is going to be on an individual basis. The enemy from within myself and yourself, black man. The enemy within that prevents us from rising to the highest pinnacle. That prevents us from being God incarnate to the fullest extent. That prevents us from being successful and attaining the highest levels, whatever they are in this world, in this society. The enemy within you and me and we and us. I want to discuss that. But at the same time, I want to be straight to it and brief because we have very little to say and very much to do. You know that too. Very little to say and very much to do. So without further ado, here goes nothing. The second angle I want to come from it at is that of us as a brotherhood. The collective of us as black men. The different variations, the different levels, the different intricacies, all of the differences, all of the dynamic differences that make us who we are individually, unalike, but at the same time magnify our greatness as a collective. Make it to where we can appreciate each other, come together and relate and build and destroy, teach, learn, follow, lead, etc. You know? In the name of black family, which is the cornerstone of the black nation. In the name of loving our women and securing our children. In the name of being a reflection of the divine incarnate. So within the ranks, as we know, we have a lot of infiltration. Whether it's those of us who have been appointed by an agency and literally work for those people, you know, those people. Or whether it's individuals, brothers, within the ranks who have inner demons that are more powerful than the God force within us. See, the agent behavior, the stool pigeon, provocateur behavior must be addressed, dearly beloved. So that's what we came to do. Our enemies from within. Once again, our enemies from within. And in this, addressing it thoroughly and us coming together firmly as a brotherhood, we will be better husbands for the pleasure of Allah. Yeah. We will be better fathers for the pleasure of Allah. Better sons, better brothers. grandfathers, uncles, etc. You know what it is. Mentors. All of the above and then some. So, as we begin to delve and dig deeper, I'm going to go ahead and start the second instrumental that I'm going to rotate in and out. Both of these instrumentals are going to be on Mixtapes and Heartache. Coming soon. The goal is to have it out before the end of first quarter. If not, it's no time like the spring and summer. So wait for that. But I wanted to play these instrumentals because they're a little more aggressive, you know? 808s, you know? That jungle, that bass, that male energy that we need. Because brothers, we got to get to it and get through it, you know? So let's go ahead and go after it. Our enemies from within. As individuals, we all have demons, brother. We all have past conflicts. I know I do. I got scars, physical, mental, emotional. Yeah. Spiritual warfare has left me with many battle scars. Yeah. But all praise is due to Allah, the warrior I am. I can say I've given more than I've received. On the battlefield and in the realm of charity. As brothers, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be transparent with ourselves, because whatever you try to conceal and reveal will be exposed. We are in the season, of exposure. People are being exposed. We are in the season of separation. Yeah. So whatever you try to hide will come to the light. We are living in the day of judgment, the day of religion, the day of reckoning, the day of resurrection. That's now. You remember how the elders used to say, back in the day, back in my day, they're not talking about a 24-hour cycle or period, beloved, as we know. They're talking about back when they were young and in their prime and full of youth, full of valor and vigor, you know? Some of us full of vanity. We'll get to that too, inshallah. They were referring to a time where they were thriving, they were excelling. Back in my day, that's what they're referring to, the elders. Well, we're living in the day of judgment. And Allah judges through people. So, to an extent, to a great extent, actually, I understand when we say we're not supposed to judge one another, because we're not. We alone, none of us are the all in all, qualified to just, judge somebody's entire life. However, man is to judge man, right? Steel is to sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron. So in the best of manner, with justice at the core, I am to judge myself and you, brethren. Yeah. I must correct myself so that I may be of service to my brother. That I may even be able to qualify myself to correct my brother as I correct myself. I make mistakes every day. Every day. But I have more virtues than flaws, and my flaws and shortcomings, I'm refining them each and every day. I encourage you to do the same. Big brother, little brother. Our enemies from within, whether it's issues with our mothers, issues with our fathers, issues from, childhood, our upbringing, how we related to the other youth in the neighborhood while we were coming up, in our rites to passage. Teachers, I know certain experiences I had in the public food system, where some of these teachers left me scarred. I went to war with a lot of those white supremacist puppets, pawns. Whether it was verbal, whether it was physical, I got into physical altercations with teachers. White men growing up. And some of their sons also. But I also was clashing with some of my brothers. Now, some of those fights, altercations, were directly as a result of me defending myself, or, you know, that comes with it. Everybody get a fair one. Some of us more than others. But some of those fights, some of those altercations were just me not being the best version of myself because I was dealing with a level of self-hate. So it was hard for me to love or relate to my brother when I saw in him what I hated in myself, and vice versa. See, now I'm grown and I can articulate it because I'm a man that's come full circle. I'm a father myself. But coming up, you don't understand all these thoughts and feelings that you struggle with in your youth as a young man. So I remember having altercations with brothers, different males, different men, growing up. Some of them were just because I was just flat out hot-headed. You know, quick to fly off the handle, you know, quick to, you know. We came up like that. What can you do? What can I say? It is what it is. But at some point, I would say probably in my early 20s, maybe mid-20s. Because I'm a brother that's been down. You know, I'm no stranger to going down the road. That's slang for going to the joint or, you know, through the prison industrial complex. I've been through that. I've been there. And a major part of the reason why I was there to just take full accountability is I was passionate and I was willing to go the extra mile to prove a point. That nobody could take anything from me or disrespect me as a man. But I sacrificed and lost a lot in that experience, in that altercation, in that situation. That even now today, we're talking about 11 years later, 10, 12 years later, I still have effects of that. You know, I still have hindrances and setbacks, limitations, which there is no limitation. There's no limit to the sky. But in this society on the surface level, it just made it harder. I made it harder for myself being emotional. But where I am today, I've learned from that. And I've taught many brothers off the ledge, whether from harming themselves or doing harm to somebody else, particularly other black men, such as themselves, such as myself. Yeah, that comes with it. But I had to do a lot of self-identifying. I had to point these things out. I had to go through the dissection and the surgery. You know, I had to come under the knife. I had to come under the scrutiny. I had to come under the lens of the critical eye. I had to really take a look at myself and get myself straight, and I'm still doing it, working on it each and every day. But I'm just saying these things to say that my temper, and sometimes you may relate, our tempers as black men can cost us a lot. How many brothers you know, how many uncles you got that's in prison right now based on a bad decision? One fist fight, one shootout, one argument that went a little too far. One situation where I could have just, you know, swallowed my pride, figuratively speaking, and walked away. We'll go overboard, rip the door off the hinges and go off the deep end to prove a point. So now today I have the blessing of being an example, and also the burden of trying to make sure that other young men, and particularly my son, don't go down that same path to where you just flying off the handle and you're just reactionary. Black men, we gotta be stronger than that. We, I, me, you, us, must demonstrate better posture, behavior, and conduct than what I just described, than what I've been found demonstrating in my past, in my younger life, you know. Because where I am today, I'm not perfect. It's some days I blow it. And the warrior side of me will never just lay its sword or spear down. I'll never just lay down my sword and just disregard the battlefield. The struggle is ordained and the fight it continues. You know, the beat goes on, as they say. So I'll never forsake the warrior within me, but I can't be controlled by that. Being an intellectual, yeah, demonstrating and exhibiting wisdom. That's what it's about. Being able to be diplomatic and sit down with my brethren, even if they not familiar in the sense of relatives, even if they the opposition. You got to be able to sit down and negotiate and conduct business if you're going to be a general. I highly recommend that you all read the book Muhammad as a Military Leader. Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah alayhi salam. It talks about him not just as a religious man and a man who established Islam, but as a military leader. And a lot of war generals have mirrored and studied or did their variation, their best attempts to mirror, I should say. Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah alayhi salam's peace and blessings be upon him, example and demonstration of a military leader. We gotta be firm. We gotta be in control. We gotta be like that fire in the burning bush, black man, where the voice of Allah came through and spoke to Moses, Musa. May Allah be pleased with him and all of the prophets. Where the voice of Allah came through to that prophet, our brother. He was a brother, you know, black man. Yeah. And although the bush was on fire, or although it was burning, it wasn't on fire, it wasn't consumed by the flames, I should say. That's control. That's what we have to be found demonstrating. We gotta be our strongest critic, but we can't beat ourselves down and obliterate ourselves into nothing. Don't be so hard on yourself, black man. I'm encouraging you to do this as I encourage myself to do the same. We do the best we could do. You know, strive to be better and better. And as I always say, it gets greater later. You know that. So, moving along, we must conquer these things. Whether it's anger, whether it's greed, whether it's lust. We must get control of our lower selves, black man. We can't be out here just being whoremongers. If you don't have the means to really, you know, bring these women into, I'm going to use the language of stable, as in you're providing her with stability, not like she's a horse, but a bride is a horse, you know. If we're not willing to provide the structure and the stability, we should fall back. It's okay, man. Just get your money. Stay out the way. Between the pandemic and all this other foolishness they got out here, we might need to lay low anyway. You know. Lest we fall victim of something that ain't for us. It ain't good for us. You know. Let's not get caught up in making illegitimate children, babies out of wedlock and all of that. Let's do better. Let's really stand by these sisters if it's all like that. If we want them to lead, or excuse me, if we want them to follow our lead, then we must be the leaders that Allah fashioned us to be. We must be worthy of them to follow. You understand? We must be worthy of them to follow our lead. And we also have to discern which women are good for us and which women are good for our lower self. Because it's a difference between a woman that's wife material and mother material than a woman that's just fun for the moment. The moment don't just have to be one day or one night. It could be a certain period of time. So we got to get control over that, our lower desires. Let's really play a significant role in these sisters' lives. Men go where we're needed. Boys go where they're wanted. And really childish little boys, they run around and try to do what they want to do. As men, we got to level up and we got to demonstrate responsibility. We got to conduct business. It's a younger generation looking up to us, you know. Huh? Before I was a father, I was a big brother. I was a mentor. I was an uncle. I was a big cousin. You know what I mean? Oldest child and grandchild on all sides. So I know about it. You know, to whom much is given, much is required. So we're required to lead by example. Let's do that. Plain and simple. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's get control of our lower desires. Let's get control over the fact that our parents wasn't perfect. Their parents wasn't perfect. Huh? Let's forgive our parents if they came up short. Some of us didn't have our parents in our lives, as in they were absent. Maybe it was in your best interest for your parents or parents to not be there, because maybe their toxicities would have damaged you, and thus you wouldn't be who you are today. Just a thought. It's, you know, we could look at it many different ways. It's many different ways it could go. We dealt this hand, we do the best we can. We play to win. You understand? That's what it's about. So let's forgive our parents of their shortcomings. Let's forgive our brothers and sisters of their transgressions. Yeah, let's do that. And let's forgive ourselves if we came up short. If you're a father and you know you haven't been the best dad, or, you know, vice versa, let's step up as men and really be there for our offspring, really be there for our sons and daughters. It's mandatory. There's no way around it, really. So, moving forward, I could go on and on and on that. We got to take accountability, is my point. Respond to our ability. Yeah. That way, we could give our brother a straight, because until we get the ranks in order, we're not going to advance. Our children are going to be destroyed like we were in the generations before, and they're going to get it worse if we don't intervene in the name of Allah. Because the times are worse, and they're going to continue to get worse before they get better. It gets greater later. Great don't necessarily mean good, but it can mean good. We strive to be great for goodness sake. We gotta definitely make sure we putting our best foot forward to ensure that we holding our brothers accountable. We holding each other accountable. Yeah. You know, a child should look to their father in particular as a superhero. Like you're damn near invincible. Like, otherwise we done something wrong. Let's really take reins and be an example for these children, that they may reverse the curse and break the chain and be the recipients of the promised land. Yeah, let's save our souls. Come on, man. Let's really lead our women the way we know we're supposed to. And let's make sure that we're picking the women that we need spiritually and not just that we want physically. You know, that whole concept of being evenly yoked, that's real, because we're living in a very peculiar time. It's very perilous, the season of separation. So you might pick somebody that might be the means of your destruction. You might literally be sleeping with the enemy. We got to be mindful of that in our decision making, of who we want to entertain and spend our time and the rest of our life with, who we want to procreate with, especially us as men. Come on, man, we got legacies to build and fulfill, and you know the deal. We can't be out here playing the fool, being a buffoon, spreading our seed all over the place, womanizing, abusing our brethren, misleading our children, neglecting our children. Come on, man. We got to do better. We got great examples and ancestors and elders that are reference points for brothers like you and me in real time. Because if I could get myself a straight and make sure I'm on a straight and narrow, then I could prevent you from going off the path, or at least give you a reminder, and vice versa. But if I'm no good for myself and my own life and my children, how am I going to serve my brother? Come on, man, we got to do better. If we want our women to do better, we got to do better. That's a fact. And to the women that heard the message that I did, the last video I did, that understood where I was coming from, or that will hear this in the future, these videos, because we just getting warmed up. As long as there's breath in my lungs, it'll be content to be discussed. And I will be providing social commentary. So, keep in mind that the brothers that came before us, from Prophet Noble Drew Ali to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, I can name many names. A movie just dropped about Judas and the Black Messiah, and it, was talking about Fred Hampton. Yeah, a brother who did more at 21 when he died, or when he departed or ascended. He did more at 21 than some people do at 52. 67. That brother was 21 years old when the enemy came for him. Let his life be a lesson. Because if I'm really on my square and you on your square, and we making sure that we sharp and polished to the T, then when the enemy comes to try to infiltrate, we'll see him, smell him coming. We'll be able to address it and handle it accordingly. We can never stop the enemy from trying to tear our house down, prevent us from nation building. But we don't have to fall victim to their plans, for they plan and Allah plans. And surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is but the best of planners. So we gotta watch for the enemy, externally and internally. Yeah. All skin folk and kinfolk, we know this. Let us be found building that which needs to be built. Yeah. Let us be found going back to original thought, holding each other accountable. Black male agency, black male accountability. Let us challenge each other in the best of manner to be a reflection of Allah and to stay in the remembrance of the divine, the true and living. Let us be an example. Let us be an example. Let us be walking reincarnations, whether literally or physically, of the Paul Robesons, the Medgar Evers, the Huey Newtons, the Fred Hamptons. Yeah. So many that we can name. The Darren Seals of the world, who was a brother in my age group. He lost his life shortly after the Mike Brown situation in Ferguson. This Black Lives Matter, all of this smoke and mirror stuff stemmed from that. That brother was the real deal in his community. Let us carry on the fight. Yeah. Because so many of us have lost our life along this journey, trying to free ourselves and trying to free our people. And here we are on the heels of the new world. We are literally living in the paradigm shift. I want to be written on the right side of history, brother, big brother, little brother, and I want to make sure you are written on the right side of history. We got sons and daughters, wives, communities to protect, businesses to run, lessons to learn and teach, much to do and very little to say. Brother, check yourself so you can check your brother. Let us be found always doing inventory, research, and soul searching to find that which is less than perfect and going to work on it. Because we could talk about the sisters all day. I'm thoroughly convinced that if enough of us stand up and set the standard, they're going to fall in line. And those that don't, well, I mean, they get what they get. But we can't demand that they follow us if we're not even good followers, let alone leaders ourselves. As the man, we're supposed to provide structure, order, patterns, routines. Yeah, the stability, the provision, the protection, the plan, the master plan. And if we choose the right woman, she'll follow suit. Some women are just rebellious, but some men are just weak. Can we keep it real? We gotta tell the truth and shame the devil, black man. Some of these devils is black like you and me. Some of them is in our family tree. Some of them you grew up with, whatever the case. Some of them you may never meet, you might not ever know. But if I can identify the enemy of myself, then I can identify the enemy outside of myself and anybody else that's an opposing force. We gotta be strong. It's time for the utmost military training and demonstration. And this internet can be a gift and a curse because it's a place where we can gather and, bounce ideas and trade our thoughts. But it's also a place where you could get jammed up, you could get infiltrated. So we're not gonna reveal strategies and whatnot, but it's a must, brother, that we tap in. Shout out to, once again, Jason Black, Zoe Williams, different brothers that I've been tapped in and tuned into. Brother named King Riches, much respect to that brother from London. Different names, you know what I mean? And it's a lot of nonsense out there too, a lot of stuff we can't co-sign. But y'all know I'm a product of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, striving to be an example of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad represented through the example of the minister, the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. These are men of great consequence. These are men that understood the enemy within themselves, and they was able to identify it in their brother. Then they was able to fight on the grandest of stages, that grand dragon, which is the white supremacists, which is the Satan. Spiritual warfare. I gotta check me so I can check you in the best of manner. It just is what it is. And in the midst of doing all of this, we'll get to where we need to go. And if we don't make it in the physical form, our offspring will get there. But legacy is everything. Let's invest with each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's check in with each other more. Yeah. If the women see us united in a brotherhood and not trying to, upstage one another constantly, they'll be more liable to fall in line also. Collectively. Because my woman or your woman might obey me or you, or women may submit. But in order for us to have it as a collective, we all got to stand on similar principles as men. We got to get back to what manhood really is, what brotherhood really is, what fatherhood really is, what husbandry truly is. Husbandry, the art and the science of being a husband. And all of these areas and assets where we coming up short, we got to go harder and be stronger. We just do. There's no way around it. It is what it is. Or we're going to suffer the consequences for thus not doing. So let us be found doing it. We're in the season of Savior's Day. Savior's Day, I believe, is a week from today. It's Sunday, inshallah. We'll all be in attendance to hear the marching orders, and to see what it is that we need to be doing next and what we should expect in these trying times. So once again, our enemies from within, let's go to war with our inner demons. The real jihad, the real spiritual war starts within. Then we check those around us in the best of manner. And if we have to go to war, we go to war. Once we purge out the negative energy and the bad blood, then we could go to war with our true enemy. But only after we get on top of our game. You got to know yourself and your enemy if you want to guarantee victory. I got a son. I'm not coming up short. I will be written. My son will be written on the right side of history for the pleasure of Allah. And I pray that we see you there. Isaiah, how long I've been talking so far? How many minutes do it say on there?
600. I don't really know.
What's that number right there?
It's
This number up here.
6.
No, both of them. You see that?
36.
Yeah. So how many minutes have I been talking?
36 minutes.
Okay, 36 minutes and counting, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so we gonna get ready to wrap it up shortly, inshallah. I think that's, I think we kind of covered it. And it gets greater later, like I say, so we'll always double back. In the meantime, brother, be the best version of yourself as I strive to be the best version of myself. Let us be found encouraging one another, But if we got to check each other, we got to do that too, brother. It is what it is. Because we can't allow ourselves to come up short and for the standard to be lowered and for our children to run amok and for our women to be out here at the forefront, misled or trying to lead and leading the community astray out of ignorance, out of hurt, their own hurt. The women and the children come up short as a result of what? Us being in gross darkness and what? Laying down on the job. I'm not going out like that, and I pray you don't either. So, according to my son, I've been talking for nearly 40 minutes. We're going to begin to wrap it up. Our enemy within, let's be found conquering it. Rasulullah alayhi salam, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. May Allah be pleased with him forever and ever. Was such a submissive servant of Allah that the jinn on his left shoulder also became an angel. We got an angel on our right shoulder and a jinn on our left shoulder, That represents the duality of the human being, the balance, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang. Your angel and your jinn. We can be in such obedience to Allah that even our jinn transforms into an angel. You understand that? That's the type of time that we striving to be on over here. Team Muta Ali. Let's love our children and be an example. Let's love our wives and be an example. Where we came up short, let's make it right or learn the lessons. None of us are above saying I'm sorry. None of us are above saying I made a mistake. None of us are above, trying to make it right. And when we purge within ourselves, then we go without and do the same thing amongst each other. That's how we keep the ranks tight. You dig? So with that being said, our enemy within, let's tighten the ranks. Let's suppress our inner demons and make them submit to us rather than us submitting to them. The more we submit to Allah, the more our inner demons will submit to us. And all things around us, all things we survey will be under our rulership, our divine dominion. Long as we do it in the best of manner and in a timely fashion. So with that being said, I'm going to try to wrap this up in a timely fashion. I pray that you got some enlightenment or some inspiration, if nothing else, from this discussion. And we look forward to having discussions in the future, further addressing the nature at hand, what we're up against in this society. Black man, let's stand up and really do what we gotta do. Let's unite, alright? We got very little to say and very much to do. And on that note, I'ma leave it at that. My name is Arion Ali, and I thank you for tuning in to these superior facts. Assalamu alaikum.